Jovan Johnson checking in this morning on a big day for him, announcing his retirement from the CFL, signing a one-day contract with the Bombers. And I am not out of place by saying he's had a Hall of Fame career, would you suggest?
I would say so. He was so good for so long with this team, with many teams across the CFL, and a good ambassador. He's somebody that embraced the league, because, a lot of guys will come in, play, leave. And you know what? I can't blame him, because, yes, it is a job, but you could tell he loved this game and what it did for him.
Did a lot of charitable things, too. And it's interesting that he picked the Bombers. We had a debate way back in the summertime, and this is your debut on the program,
yes,
by the way. I hope this is the first of many. It would certainly help us out a lot if you could be a regular in here, because you certainly bring a depth of CFL knowledge that our viewers will certainly enjoy. But we had a question. Could the Winnipeg Blue Bombers ever supplant the Saskatchewan Roughriders as the flagship franchise of the CFL? And hear me out. The one thing that we said that they're going to have to do is win. Mm-hmm. And at that time, there was the 29-year Grey Cup drought in tow. And anybody that's a long-time CFL observer, of which many of our viewers are, and you are one as well, the Edmonton Eskimos were the flagship franchise of this team from the 70s up until probably the mid-2000s. They had the Grey Cups to prove it. They led the league in attendance. They had it. The Riders under Jim Hobson and crew usurped that from them. They became the flagship franchise of the CFL. They are still the flagship franchise of the CFL, but that's not to say that they own it forever. Could Winnipeg take that away?
Why not? I mean, as you said, everything is cyclical, and Wade Miller has done a great job. Listen, there was a lot of growing pains with that organization. When he came in, he cleaned house. There was a lot of upset people within the organization. I talk the business ops side of things. And he took his time. He built the team that he wanted inside and on the field. And now it's starting to finally produce. The fans in Winnipeg, fickle bunch. They're starting to come around as well.
Can you blame them?
No. That whole, you know what? It's not even that they got close. There was a lot of bad years, other than 2007, which we will always hear from BC Lion fans from Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans that should have been their Grey Cup. But other than 2007 and of a recent, there's been a lot of bad football played out in Winnipeg. But yes, they could. And I think that would be good for the league as the premier. The Riders will always have a top 3 footprint within the CFL, but to move maybe the number 1 to somewhere else would be healthy for the league.
Tyler Daku, our social media advisor, writes in. He says maybe the Bombers could have taken over the top spot before the Jets came home. No, wrong. The Eskimos were the number 1 team in the CFL all through the 80s Oilers heyday. It's got nothing to do with the NHL. Can we stop bringing up the NBA with the Grizzlies? Can we stop bringing up the NHL with the Jets? The CFL does not need to take a back seat to anybody. I will sing from the same hymn book that Randy Ambrosi sings from on that. They don't need to take a back seat. I'm with Jovan. I mean, he kind of lost me when he said the CFL might have better players than the NFL. But I also know where he was coming from. Mm-hmm. But in this country of Canada, the CFL, because it is such a tremendous product, again, on the radio in Lloydminster today, and they're asking me, does the CFL need to be worried? One half of me says, no, it doesn't, because it's so great. Mm-hmm. The product is amazing. The stadiums are tremendous. There's millions of fans. Ambrosi rolled out the stats the other day here. But on the other hand, they got to get with it. Fair? Your last word on that before we bring in Nugsy after the break.
Very fair. There is still a lot of work to do with the CFL. There's a lot of young fans to be had and a lot of young fans that are being lost. You look at that Toronto Raptors crowd, and that's the type of fans that the CFL wants. Young, vibrant, a lot of great new Canadians. Let's show them what, yes, hockey is Canada, but you know what? So is the CFL. Let's give them a big chunk of Canada.
Dan, thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Give me a bump. See you next time.
I was going to shake the bump.
All right, Dan Plaster from the CBC joining us. Noogs, Ian next as we shift gears to hockey, and we'll check the poll results too. Capital Automall Universal Collision Center poll question's a hot one today. You're watching Canada's only live morning sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show, on Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.